Hello and welcome to this Between Dimensions, I think I want to call it, because I want to talk about some behind the scenes stuff, and the early access release of Dimension Drifter is the topic of this video, and the future of Dimension Drifter, and some new features that you can expect in the next update. But you can't see it in this video because this is the Steam version that I'm playing right now. Because this is just I'm currently like in the middle of adding this new thing, so I can't show anything right now. And the Steam Early Access is the first topic I want to talk about, and the Steam Early Access was actually like really trash garbage. The Steam Early Access release was god-awful, an abomination, and what the hell? Hell Kitty, I guess, whatever I want to call her. Anyway, so yeah, what's going on with Steam and Direct and the Early Access, and what does this mean for the future of this game? Will there be a future? Yes. Spoilers, yes. Anyway, so right now, Steam Early Access release was a god-awful abomination upon mankind. It was horrible beyond belief. I'm actually not joking. It's actually very terrible. It's horrible. And if this continues, I actually have to retire. I'm not joking. This is really, really bad. And now let me just give you a little example. When I released Unloved in Early Access 3 years ago, and in my opinion, Unloved was in a much rougher state. It had much less content, and overall it was just, in my opinion, a much weaker experience. But the sales of Unloved were actually 6 times as much as with Dimension Drifter, and I was actually able to sustain and live off that. So, and right now this is not possible anymore. And there are 2 options. So first off, let me go in a little bit of detail what I think is going on with Steam, because there's no one talking about this, and you know, maybe my inside perspective can help, because I don't know, many people are just like thinking, oh yeah, Steam Direct is such a cool system, it's just a filter for all this garbage, right? But actually, it's a filter for everything that is not popular, which is a much different thing. Because I don't consider Dimension Drifter to be bad in any way. I think it's a very, very good game. It has high quality, a lot of content for an initial early access release. And yeah, so what's going on? What's wrong? What's happening? So my personal opinion is that Steam basically reversed Steam Greenlight, and that Direct is basically Greenlight 2.0. And what I mean by that is kind of simple. In Greenlight, people needed to vote for games that they wanted to see on Steam. But the problem is that anything that is free and doesn't involve money, there are a lot of people who are trying to game the system, and people are basically flooding the system with things that are for free. So Steam knew that they had to involve money in the very beginning of this process, so they invented Direct, which means that it's the same. So what I mean is, Steam is hiding your games as if they are not released on Steam. So with Dimension Drifter, my game does not get any promotion inside of Steam, which any other normal game would. And you can even see that on the store page. There's a little button saying Steam is learning about your game, which translates into Steam kind of thinks you are a trash garbage game, and Steam doesn't want you unless you have enough sales. And unless this happens somehow, I don't know how, magically, whatever, Steam will not promote my game at all, and I am basically not getting any sales, which is bad. So I'm currently looking into ways to promote the game outside of Steam, like Google Ads and stuff like that. And if I cannot improve the sales, I have to basically retire my indie dev career, if you want to call it that, and go with a usual full-time job somewhere and use and make games in my free time again, like I used to with Gungar 2, for example. Which means that Dimension Drifter will probably take much longer to complete. Yeah. The other thing I can do, if the sales of Dimension Drifter improve, then everything will go smoothly and I will just work on the game and improve it over time and everything will be just fine and dandy and the way I intended it. But if this doesn't happen, I have to go one of the two steps. The first one I just described, that I will go with a new full-time job and Dimension Drifter will be just a hobby that I will work on the side, which will make the development much longer. And the other thing is that I will make more smaller games in between. So basically Dimension Drifter will be my not high priority, but my high quality background game. And in the meantime, I will work on many smaller games that I can just make in a much faster rate, like very, like kind of like mini games or whatever, like maybe, and all kinds of different games. So maybe some simulation games or maybe like not RPGs, they take forever, but small games like logic, like puzzle games or whatever. I have no idea. But yeah, this is the second option, that I will divide my time into one big project like Dimension Drifter, but also very, very many smaller projects on the side that I will release like every other month or something like that on Steam, because this is basically what Steam does right now to indie devs. They are basically cutting you off from the big money, and instead all you get is some scraps if you are lucky. So because more and more games will release, and the possibility that your game is the next big thing on Steam is lower and lower every day. So you have a much higher, you can sustain yourself with many small games, or you have one big game. So, and one big game doesn't cut it anymore. So I have to go with the route of many small games. But yeah, this is all stuff for the future. Right now, I will continue promoting the game on Google and stuff like that. So maybe if you can see it on your smartphone in the next future, like a Dimension Drifter ad, like you could see like, oh yeah, cool, it works. Maybe give me a little feedback that you saw the ad or something like that. That would be kind of funny. But yeah, this is what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to promote the game because I think that the best thing for me is to work on this game, because I really love this game and I want to see it flourish and improve as much as possible. And yeah, the other direction is, if the sales do not improve, I have to go with a slow burner and instead work on many smaller games, as I've described. Anyway, so yeah, this is the future of Steam Direct. Yay! It's kind of sad that Steam went this direction, because I don't know. It's in my opinion, it's just a money thing that Steam's trying to, Steam is going the same direction. They think like, yeah, the possibility that one big game like Undertale is in there is so small that we are better off releasing every shit game ever and get like all the scraps. They collect all the tiny bits of every small game, and in the long run, that makes them more money than one big game every once in a while. So it's kind of understandable, but it's also kind of sad that they're basically throwing every indie game under the bus, because without the help of Steam to promote your game, you have little to no options. Because in case you don't know, a promotion agency costs between 5,000 and 250,000 money cash. So that's not an option for many indie devs. And yeah, so let's see where this goes. Yeah, and also not for me, if you are thinking that. I'm not some kind of rich fuck. I'm living in a very small apartment, barely scraping by thanks to Steam, but this is shutting down now, so I'm kind of scared what's happening with Steam and what I can do to kind of survive, because I don't know, I don't know. Let's see where this goes. So I want to take a few months to see if I can improve the sales of Dimension Drifter, and if not, then one of these two things have to happen. But until then, let's talk about Dimension Drifter. So yeah, I am extremely happy how the game turned out, and I've seen videos from people like Hippocat, and shout out to Hippocat. I really enjoy your videos and his videos, whatever. I'm not sure if he's watching this video, but I watched his day one stream or whatever, and he had some criticism about the game. I'm really thankful, because I really like this unfiltered opinion of players. So I watched it, and there are some points that I've already addressed, like, what was it? I think he was mentioning her boobs. The thing is that I want to have many outfits, and some will be more revealing and some will be less revealing. And there will also be a male character, so if you are of the type that you are like, I want to play a guy, I want to be a badass, you know, men are more badass. No, I'm not going in that direction. But yeah, you know, if you want to play a guy, obviously I want to provide a guy. So you have a badass dude that can play. And this is on my... So basically I have more to do priorities, or like short-term and long-term goals. So short-term, I want to improve the customability of the character overall. So the very first thing that you can expect in the next update is hair colors. And after that, I want to add more outfits and more colors to the outfits and everything, so that we have more and more abilities to actually change the character the way you want them to look. And my long-term customization, which is basically like, I think in 1 or 2 months, I want to release the male character, so you can play as a male, as a man or a woman. So yeah, that's my goal, short-term and long-term in terms of customization. So yeah, I'm currently working on the hair colors. So in the next update, you can change her hair colors, and yeah, you can also find new hair colors in the booty chests. And I know that I think Hippocat also mentions that it's kind of pointless to get these skins in the boxes, and also you can change the skins by hand. And yeah, this is something I noticed as well. I didn't think it was, you know, like that when I worked on this in the beginning. So many things change once it's implemented in the game. You're kind of thinking like, yeah, why did I do that? So in the future, I kind of want to change these skins to be actual skins, like in other games, with like patterns or like some logo or whatever graphics on them, to make them more different from the color options. And yeah, second thing, customization. Yeah, weapon customization, player customization. And one thing I want to talk about is the story and the recent change to it. So before my vacation, basically on the last day before I went, I removed the story basically and just added this, added this data thing. And this is not how I really want this game to be. I want there to be a gameplay element between these action segments, and I'm currently not sure, so hopefully you can give me feedback about this, what you want to see. Because here's the thing, I want this game to be a mix of an RPG and an action game. Kind of like, maybe not really that deep like Deus Ex or something, but in the direction kind of a little bit similar, like a light... Oh, this bug. Yeah, sometimes you can reload and shoot at the same time or something like that. You can get her stuck in this weird animation. I have to look into that. So I want a gameplay element between these action segments. And right now, the very first thing I intentioned was very bad. The very first thing I intentioned was an overview of events. Like there's for example, a beach, like a rock beach or a sand beach or whatever, like no water, but only like rocks and whatever. Anyway, point is, there will be different events, and you could jump between these events. Like, oh, over here there's a little city or hub, like a town with a couple NPCs, and you can talk with them. It's all text-based. And then you can see a little bit of image, and you can talk with them, and they give you like an item, and then you can go back to a different event, like the beach. And then, for example, you could buy a shovel in the town, hub area, whatever. And it's all text-based, as I've said. And then you can go back and use the item and yada yada, and you can dig something up or whatever and stuff like that. So this was my intention in the very first, but this turned out to be such a huge break in the gameplay that it just didn't work out at all. It was feeling very, very, like two extremely different games kind of cobbled together, and it didn't feel natural at all. So I scrapped it basically last minute, and this was the very bad story that Hippocat also pointed out. Like, he's like, this story is kind of garbage, and I was like, yeah, it is, shit, what the hell am I doing? Because the story, I'm not kidding, the story was written in the last day before release. I was actually thinking about this for weeks. I had weeks planned for this mode before release, and I couldn't think of anything. I was going crazy. I was really like stressing. I was actually fucking going insane over this. I was like, god damn, I have nothing to tie this game together. What the fuck am I doing? I even watched the id Software development interview that they made on Doom 2016, and they also said that they had huge problems with somehow tying the game together. Ouch. With a story. They actually couldn't come up with a story for the game. And if you play Doom 2016, you might be thinking like, what story? You're the Doomslayer and you kill everything, so who cares? And yeah, this is exactly it. This is the big issue about these kind of games. They are so action-packed and fast-paced that players don't actually care about a story, but you need a story to make sense of what you're doing in the game, which was one of the issues with Unloved. A lot of players played one map, and then they went, what the hell is going on here? I'm just refunding this shit. So that was bad. So you need some kind of, purpose and the story and make sense of what the player is doing. And in these games, this is kind of like a side note. It's like, yeah, demons, go kill. But if there's no story, players are like, I have no idea what I'm even doing here, so is this it? Anyway, so enough rambling. So there are two things that I'm considering right now to change the in-between action segments, because personally I think the action bits are awesome. I love it. It's action-packed, it's cool, it's dynamic, you have all kinds of options. I want to improve the amount of weapons and different weapons for each episode. So one episode you have a single barrel shotgun, and one episode you have a double barrel shotgun. And yes, the weapons will actually be found inside the maps, so you just not run around with all the weapons all the time, but you have to find them, and it's you switch them out maybe or something like that. So it's basically like a real game, like with progression and finding weapons and stuff like that. So yeah, this is the future for the weapons. And between the action segments, this is basically what I'm kind of hoping for feedback. I have two ideas right now. The first idea is to make some kind slower version of this action bit. So you have still a third-person view like this, but your character is moving slower, basically, or maybe it's moving the same speed, but it's a fixed world. It's a fixed hub area where you can run around and interact with stuff, but there are no enemies and it's basically like is a RPG mode or whatever, because the thing is, this world is actually based on a RPG, a pen and paper RPG that I've written for the time of over 15 years. And I'm very, very happy with the world that I created, and I want to bring this world into the actual game more and more. So this action, because this world is so diverse and you can do so many things with it, that I think it could be the foundation for many games, many different games, like an actual real RPG and an action. This could be the action game, and then there would be a real RPG game, and all kinds of stuff is possible with this world. So I want to bring this world more into this game as well, because I've heard a lot of feedback that people are actually interested in this world, and they want to know what's going on and what's happening and everything. So I think there's a lot of stuff, that I couldn't actually tell in a good way. So the first idea is to make... I have no bombs? Oh, I started new. All right. New episode. I have to make this more clear. Like, these new episodes have to be... So, yeah. Maybe I will completely cut this data part and make it into a different segment of the game. Like, these data will be something like an Unloved, where it's like some kind of side thing or whatever. So, first idea is to make an actual RPG world, like a hub world with a fixed content, with a world that you can run around, like, down there you can run around and between buildings, and there are NPCs that you can talk to, and there's a shop where you can buy things, and you can travel between different hubs with the subway station, like in Gun Girl or something like that. So this is my first idea, to make like an out of action segment where you have no weapons and you just run around, you talk with people, and you do, like, I don't know, missions or wherever for them, and improve your influence with them, or like your reputation or something like that. Some kind of RPG elements that tie this game together in a much better way. This is the first idea. The second idea would be to have like some kinds of an overworld map. So basically, you run around down there, but your camera is way up here. Hello. Your camera is a lot higher, and you can and it's basically like a overworld simulation of a world, where you go to like these kind of points, like points of interest, and once you enter these points, you zoom in, and there's like this mini area, like one room or something, and you talk with an NPC over there or something like that. So I want to have NPCs that you can actually talk with, and maybe items that you can find, like these story bits. Like, for example, I could add something like you have to find 10 items of some kind, but in the action bits, these items are spread out. So you have like these immediate goals, like, oh, I have to find the goal of this map. But actually, in between, you can find like these shards or something like that from other items, and then you can overall improve different goals over time. So you have like more objectives combined into one or something like that. So yeah, give me your feedback. I have no idea what I want to do. I think I want to do this hub area world where you can run around in third person, right, like this. But still, there is like kind of slower. Maybe I want to slow down the whole game. I don't know right now, but to have like some kinds of I don't know how to call this, like the glue between the action segments, to tie this world together in a fun and coherent way, and also give this game some kinds of RPG elements, because I think that the world is interesting enough to have like I don't know, all kinds of stuff going on besides the action, and I don't want to break up the action. And yeah, I don't know, but yeah, because I'm very happy with the action bits, but I don't know, somehow I want to tie this game together in a more interesting way and add like these RPG elements between the action segments, something like that. But yeah, give me your feedback. How would you add like more content or more context to the world. That's basically the thing I want to do. Add more context to everything that's going on. So yeah, give me your feedback, and yeah, I'm done with this video. I've talked long enough. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Give me your feedback. What do you think? What would you like to see with Dimension Drifter? Obviously, I will add more rooms and more weapons and more enemies and more everything. But between the action segments, I want something, you know, something more interesting. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.